Welcome back. So in this session, we're going to be looking at creating your initial document. Now, the first time you fire up InDesign, you'll notice it will ask you, do you want a new file or do you want to open an existing file? Remember, if you forgot what I said in the Creative Cloud session, if you want to fire up InDesign, go to your Creative Cloud desktop app. And under your apps, you'll notice the InDesign and it will say open. And you can open up the program from that, which will take you to this screen. Now, obviously, we want to start a new document over here. So we'll click on New File, and it will ask us what would we like to do. Now, we can work with print sizes, we can work with web sizes, and we can work with mobile sizes. Remember, InDesign isn't just geared for print, even though in this chapter we're looking at the print side of things. Eventually, we will look at digital documents, creating it in digital sizes, and also for mobile. There's something interesting I do want you to notice is under print, right if you scroll down, there is a lot of templates for you to work with. So it's a good starting point if you don't know what to make with your design. Okay, so those files already have the boxes and you can just jump in and start putting your content into it. Now in our case, we're going to just click on View More Presets and we're going to click on A5. Okay, now dependent on where you are in the world, your units might be different. Over here, we use millimeters. So on the right-hand side, it gives you the specification and the size in millimeters. Then, of course, you can change it over here. Then you've got, is it this going to be a portrait or a landscape design? In our case, we're going to stick to portrait. Then you have the number of pages. We're going to start out our document with 3 pages, which means we've got the cover and we've got the first DPS or double page spread. Now, what is facing pages? If we look again at the layout of a magazine, if we talk about facing pages, it means the pages face each other. It's in book form or in magazine form. So it's not single pages inside the document. Sometimes you might want to do single pages. What if you were doing a pull-up banner? That will just be a one-page document and it won't have facing pages. If you were doing a business card in InDesign, same thing, you won't have facing pages, you'll have just normal pages. Okay, so in our case, we do want the facing pages. And the next little tab's asking you, which page should your document start? Now, we want it obviously to start on page 1. If you think about a magazine flow, the cover is never page 1. Okay, it's normally page 3 in the document with the contents pages, that will be page 1. But we can always change that later. So we're just going to set it as page 1. Then we have this primary text frame. And what this means, if we select it, it means each page already gets a box where we can drop in text. This is ideal if we were creating a book, for instance. But in our case, we want more boxes. We're going to have picture boxes. We're going to have text boxes. We're going to have image boxes. And we don't want that frame to be there in the beginning. So we're not going to tick that one. Okay, then we have the columns. This is purely just a guideline for you. So we can make it 2 columns and we can use that to see where our content would go. And you've got the column gutter, which is the space between your columns. Then you have the margin. By default, it's 12.7 millimeters. You can make that more. Some of your more glossy publications has, for instance, 20 millimeters over here, but I'm going to leave it on the default. And then we have bleed. Now, very important. If you've never heard of bleed, bleed is, if we look at the magazine cover again. Now, imagine you did a design and the design stops right on the edge of the page. And now it goes to print and they cut it just a 0.5 millimeter wrong. What would you end up with? A white line on that side, which isn't ideal at all. So what we do in InDesign is we extend the design by 3 millimeters. This is not really, it can't contain part of your design, but we're extending it if there's an error in the printing process that the final result is perfect. Okay, so the default is 3 to 5 millimeters. I'm going to make it 3 millimeters all around, top, bottom, inside, outside. So if this is locked, it will make it 3 millimeters for all the sides. Then we have slug. Slug is an additional space that is added on top of the bleed, where you can put in instructions or notes or anything like that. We're going to skip that and not do slug for this document. Okay, so that is setting up our document. From here, we click on Create, and it creates the first page of the document. So guys, that's it for this session. In the next session, we will look at the program environment and getting around inside the program. I'll see you soon.